If you feel like life is pulling you apart from every single direction, like you're just completely broken, then this is for you. We're going to walk through a really powerful framework for your comeback, a guide to rebuilding yourself piece by piece.
Man, this feeling is so real, isn't it? That crushing weight when the walls feel like they're closing in and you think, this is it, it's over. That feeling is valid, it is heavy. But the most important word right here, the one I want you to really hang on to, is illusion.
So let's start with what's probably the hardest part of this whole journey, the breakdown. We're going to dive into what this collapse phase really is, and more importantly, how we can start to think about it in a totally different way.
Okay, this right here, this is the fundamental mindset shift. We've been taught to see a breakdown as the ultimate failure, a dead end. But what if it's not the end of the story? What if it's actually a transition, a messy, painful, but absolutely necessary stage before what comes next?
You see, this phase isn't just random chaos happening to you. It actually has a purpose. Think of it like a controlled demolition. It's a process that's designed to tear down everything that isn't stable, the illusions you believed, the relationships that weren't genuine, the habits that kept you stuck, and the old version of you that you've simply outgrown. It has to clear the land before you can build something new and much, much stronger.
So understanding the why is one thing, but it's not going to be enough to get you through the day, right? So let's shift gears from the why to the how. This next part is all about your toolkit, the practical, real things you can start doing right now to get through this. It is so easy to get stuck in these giant, overwhelming questions like, why did this happen to me? Or how will I ever fix this? They just drain you. The real power move is to shift your focus to something so much smaller and simpler. What is the next small action? Just that one question pulls you out of the past and plants you firmly in the present, where you actually have some control. And that next small action, it doesn't have to be glamorous. In fact, it's usually built on what we can call the boring fundamentals. Wake up, drink a glass of water, tidy up one small corner of your space. Do just one productive thing. Why this stuff? Because motivation is an emotion. It comes and goes. But discipline? Discipline is a system, and these tiny actions are how you build that system. They're your foundation. All right, here's another huge mental shift. We instinctively feel pain and think it's a punishment for something we did wrong. It's something to run from. But what if we looked at it in a completely different way? What if every ounce of that pain is actually valuable information? Not a penalty, but a lesson. Let's break that down. The searing pain of betrayal, it's a masterclass in where your boundaries need to be. The sting of failure, well, that's just raw data you can use to adjust your strategy for next time. And that deep ache of loneliness, that's teaching you the incredible, powerful skill of self-reliance. Your pain is literally your training data for the future. Now, all this internal work is crucial, but let's be real, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. We still have to live in the outside world with all of its noise and pressure. So this next section is about learning to play the long game. It is so incredibly easy to fall into the comparison trap, isn't it? You look at social media, you see people hitting these life milestones, and you feel like you're falling behind. But there is no universal timeline. Your journey is custom made. Measuring your life with someone else's ruler is just setting yourself up for disappointment. And this is so important to remember. We glorify early, fast success, but a lot of the time it can be pretty fragile. A path that takes a little longer, that has some detours, well, that allows for something much deeper to be built. Wisdom, resilience, stability. Your life isn't delayed. It's just in a different, more deliberate phase of construction. You know, when you're going through a collapse, some people are going to leave your life. And that hurts. There's no way around it. But reframing this can change everything. It's not just abandonment, it's filtration. It's a natural process that painfully but beautifully reveals who was only temporary and who is truly permanent. We live in an age where if it wasn't posted, it didn't really happen. But the most profound, most meaningful transformations happen in silence. This phase isn't about performing your growth for an audience. It's about actually doing the quiet, unseen work. So what does that actually look like? It looks like this. Your focus turns inward. You're learning quietly, without needing to announce every new thing you've figured out. You're healing privately, without needing everyone's sympathy. And you are improving daily, without needing any outside validation. Trust me, the results will speak for themselves when the time is right. Okay, so you've gone through the breakdown, you've been using your toolkit and doing the quiet work,
And now comes the final phase. This is the rebirth. This is where you take all those lessons and start to consciously build the new you. A massive part of this phase is self-forgiveness. It's so easy to look back and just beat yourself up for past choices. But let's reframe that. You trusted someone you shouldn't have? You didn't do that because you were naive. You did it because you had hope. And hope is a beautiful, powerful thing to have. You look back at a failure and all you see is the mistake. But think about it. The only way to never fail is to never try. You failed because you had the courage to step into the ring in the first place. That's not a weakness, my friend. That is a sign of strength.
Maybe you stayed in a job or a relationship for too long. Hindsight makes it easy to call that a mistake. But you didn't stay because you were weak. You stayed because you cared. You stayed because you're the kind of person who invests in things. Forgiving yourself for these isn't making an excuse. It's a sign of real emotional maturity.
And after all this, after the reframing, the discipline, the forgiveness, a new you begins to emerge. And it's not some loud, flashy version. It's something way more powerful. Your mind will be calm, even in chaos. Your confidence will be quiet. It won't need to prove anything. And your strength will just be visible. People will see it. And that's the ultimate takeaway here. You'll look back at this impossible, dark time, this phase that feels like it's going to end you, and you will realize with absolute clarity that it wasn't the phase that destroyed you, it was the phase that built you. So that leaves us with one last powerful question. It's not about who you were or what happened to you anymore. It's about looking forward with all this new strength and all this hard-won data. The real question is, who are you becoming?